The Murmurs of Midnight Heights, a Chicago ghost story. Part 1, A New Start in the Windy City. Chicago, October 2025. The Windy City hums with life, skyscrapers gleam under the autumn sun, Lake Michigan's waves lap against the shore, and the L train rumbles through the loop. Amid this urban sprawl stands Midnight Heights, a sleek high-rise in the near west side, its glass facade reflecting the city's vibrant glow. Ethan Carter, a 30-year-old freelance photographer, moves into apartment 2304, a modest but modern unit on the 23rd floor. The rent is a bargain for Chicago, a city where affordable housing is as rare as a quiet night. Ethan, tired of his overpriced studio in Wicker Park, sees this as a chance to rebuild after a rough year. The move is smooth. Ethan unpacks his gear, cameras, tripods, a laptop, and a few framed prints of his cityscapes. The apartment is clean, with stark white walls and floor-to-ceiling windows offering a stunning view of Chicago's skyline, from the Willis Tower to the distant glow of Navy Pier. That first night, Ethan lies in bed, the city's neon lights casting shifting patterns on his ceiling, blues, purples, and golds dancing like restless fireflies. The apartment is oddly silent, muffling the usual urban cacophony of sirens and horns. As sleep begins to claim him, a faint sound breaks through, drip, drip, drip. It's soft, like water leaking from a faucet, but Ethan's kitchen and bathroom are bone dry. He checks every corner, finding nothing. Old pipes, he mutters, though a quiet unease settles in his chest as he returns to bed. Part 2, Shadows in the Lens. The next morning, Ethan wakes feeling drained, his head foggy as if he'd barely slept. He brews coffee, its bitter scent grounding him, and sets up his desk by the window to edit photos. While reviewing shots of the Chicago River, he notices something odd in one frame, a faint, translucent figure standing on the riverbank, its features blurred. He hadn't seen anyone there when he took the photo. Shaking his head, he deletes the image, blaming it on a lens flare or overexposure. That night, the drip, drip, returns, louder, more insistent, as if coming from the bathroom. Ethan grabs his phone, its flashlight casting stark shadows across the room. The sink is dry, the shower untouched. But in the bathroom mirror, his reflection seems wrong. His eyes stare back, unblinking, while he's certain he just blinked. A chill runs through him. He steps back, locks the bathroom door, and avoids it for the rest of the night, his heart pounding. Sleep is fitful, the dripping sound echoing in his dreams like a distant clock. By the third day, Ethan notices peculiarities in Midnight Heights. The elevator sometimes pauses at the 13th floor, doors opening to an empty hallway, though no one pressed the button. The 23rd floor corridor is perpetually cold, even with Chicago's autumn warmth seeping through the windows. Neighbors are scarce, their doors always shut, but Ethan hears faint footsteps and murmurs from apartment 2305 late at night. Curiosity piqued, he asks the building's doorman, Mr. Ray, a grizzled man in his 60s, about the tower's history. Mr. Ray adjusts his cap, his eyes wary. Apartment 2304. People don't stay long there. They say it's off. When Ethan presses for details, the doorman shakes his head. Don't go digging, kid. Live your life and keep your head down. His words linger, heavy with unspoken warnings. Part 3, Whispers in the Night. On the fourth night, the dripping morphs into something more unsettling, a soft, mournful whisper, like a man's voice, drifting from the window. Ethan, listen, it seems to say, the words faint, carried on a breeze that shouldn't exist in a sealed high-rise. Ethan freezes, clutching his blanket, his breath shallow. The voice feels close, as if spoken beside his ear. He flips on every light, the apartment blazing with artificial brightness, but finds nothing. The whispers fade, leaving only the hum of the city and his racing pulse. Desperate for answers, Ethan searches online for former tenants of Midnight Heights. He connects with Sarah, a woman in her late 20s who lived in 2304 a year ago. They meet at a cozy coffee shop in the Loop, the air thick with the scent of espresso. Sarah's hands tremble as she speaks. I heard dripping every night, she says. Sometimes, I saw a man in the window, tall, pale, just standing there, but gone when I looked closer. I'd wake to whispers calling my name. I left after 6 weeks. That place, it's haunted. Her eyes dart nervously, as if the figure might appear behind Ethan. She urges him to move out, but Ethan, stubborn and intrigued, isn't ready to abandon his new home. Back at the apartment, Ethan sets up a motion sensor camera in the living room, aimed at the window. The next morning, he reviews the footage, his stomach twisting. At 3:12 a.m., the window slides open, though he'd locked it tight. A shadowy figure, tall and gaunt, stands on the balcony, gazing into the apartment before dissolving like smoke. Ethan replays the clip, zooming in. The figure's face is obscured, but its presence is undeniable, sending a shiver through him. Part 4, The Buried Past. Determined to uncover the truth, Ethan visits a local diner near Midnight Heights, seeking out regulars who know the area's history. An elderly waitress, Mrs. Clara, shares a chilling tale over a cup of black coffee. Midnight Heights was built on the site of an old tenement, she says, her voice low. Back in the 70s, it burned down. Dozens died, including a man who lived on what would have been the 23rd floor. They say he was trapped, couldn't escape the flames. When they rebuilt, they didn't bother with proper memorials. Some spirits don't rest easy. She hands Ethan a small silver cross, instructing him to place it by the window and pray at midnight. Speak to the spirit, she says. Give him peace. That night, the whispers return, clearer now, Ethan. I'm still here, the dripping grows frantic, echoing from the walls. Ethan places the cross on the windowsill, lights a candle, and murmurs a prayer, his voice trembling. The air grows heavy, the temperature plummeting. The window rattles violently, as if struck by an unseen force. Ethan's hands shake, but he opens the window. A gust of icy wind rushes in, snuffing out the candle. A tall figure stands on the balcony, its face pale and hollow, eyes like dark pits. Its voice echoes in his mind, "Find my name, let me go." The figure points to the wall separating his apartment from 2305, then fades into the night. Part 5, The Neighbor's Secret. The next morning, Ethan knocks on 2305's door. An elderly woman, Mrs. Ellis, answers, her hands trembling as she invites him in. Over tea, she shares a grim story. 40 years ago, a man named Daniel lived in your apartment. He was a loner, worked as a janitor. When the fire hit, he was trapped on the top floor. They found his body by the window, like he was trying to escape. His sister lived next door, in my apartment. She heard him screaming but couldn't save him. Mrs. Ellis's eyes glisten as she recalls the tragedy, admitting she's heard whispers through the walls ever since. Ethan's heart sinks. He spends the day researching the 1970s fire, finding old newspaper clippings about Daniel Harper, a 35-year-old man who perished in the blaze. His death was overshadowed by the larger tragedy, his name barely mentioned. Ethan feels a pang of sympathy, imagining Daniel's final moments, trapped and alone. Part 6, The Ritual. That night, Ethan prepares an altar by the window, candles, a photo of the old tenement he found online, and a small offering of bread and water. At midnight, he lights the candles, their flames flickering in the neon glow. He speaks softly, "Daniel Harper, I know your name. I'm sorry for your pain. Please, find peace." The air grows still. The dripping ceases. A faint sigh, like a release, brushes past him, and the apartment feels lighter, as if a burden has been lifted. Part 7, A Quiet City. The following nights are peaceful. The whispers and dripping vanish, replaced by the soft hum of Chicago streets. Ethan stays in 2304, his unease fading. Midnight Heights neon lights still pulse, but for Ethan, they now carry a quiet reverence, a reminder of a soul lost and a soul set free. He continues his photography, capturing the city's beauty, and wonders if Daniel, wherever he is, has found rest.